Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Wednesday, the 8th day of October 2025. I hope you're safe and healthy today. I hope your family is safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in health, along with first responders who risk their lives to save lives. Those also that pick up garbage, keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children, victims of child molestation and pedophilia. Those also that are trying to help the victims of pornography, child pornography, prostitution, child prostitution, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on all the perpetrators, the profiteers, and those perverts that create the demand that caused these supplies to exist. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, and military veterans homeless in the United States of America. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. Today, I want to continue a little bit of the discussion about this Giannis Antetokumpo situation. First, let me explain. Giannis Antetokumpo is a two-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, NBA champion. The Knicks do not and will not have the draft capital to obtain him. They're going to make a call like all 29 other teams are going to make a call, but he's really only interested in the Knicks. So let's put the fire out. Again, I brought it up the other day to say that's going to create clickbait. That's all it's for. I'm still getting people, maybe next summer. No, he's not coming here, ever. Can we get over that now? Giannis is not coming to New York. But let me tell you what it really means. That Giannis Antetokumpo, one of the best top 5 players on the planet, said the only team I want to go to is the Knicks. You know, many years ago, the Knicks were desperate. There was a big summer of free agency and they had plenty of cash. They had saved it up. They had a whole bunch of one-year contracts and got rid of all that and had $100 million plus to spend in free agency. And they couldn't get anybody to come to New York. Nobody wanted to come here. And again, that was when James Dolan was pushing the management of the Knicks. He was really too involved in basketball operations, and the Knicks front office was a mess. And even they had Donnie Walsh up there in the front office, and then they had Mike D'Antoni, as the coach. Nobody wanted to sign with the Knicks. And they were able to get Amari Stoudemire. Stat at that time had 2 knees that couldn't even be insured. And the Knicks ate the $100 million they overpaid to get him. And at his signing, bless his heart, the day he signed the contract and came and did his first press conference, Amari declared, the Knicks are back. It was hollow because it wasn't true, but it was hopeful. Now, they actually started doing pretty well that year. If you recall, under the Mike D'Antoni offense, they had Ray Felton playing at an all-star level. Amari's knees hadn't given out yet, and they were looking like at least a 500 team, if not an 8th seed that year. Then, of course, we know all of it was broken up with the Carmelo trade. And that kind of messed everything up for a while, okay? I mean, you had a couple of years of playoff, but the team and the management wasn't solidly built. It was like a tree that was really looking strong, but didn't have deep roots, and a strong wind could knock it over. That's what that was. Even with Mike Woodson doing the best he could with what he had. They didn't have the depth. They didn't have the development. They didn't have what they needed to be a long-term sustainable winner. So when Amari said the Knicks are back based on his signing with 2 knees that couldn't even be insured, it was hopeful, but it wasn't real. When you get a guy that's currently top 5 in the world, because I don't think anybody would argue, all NBA, first team, is going to be Antetokumpo most years than not. And so that means he's one of the top 5 and definitely top 10 best players on planet Earth. Anybody that's all NBA is one of the best players on planet Earth because the NBA is the best league in the world. So Antetokumpo is legit top 5, top 10 player on planet Earth, and he said the only team he wants to come to is the New York Knicks outside his team, Milwaukee. And thing about Giannis, you can say what you want. He was drafted by the Bucks, and he spent his whole career with the Bucks. He won a chip with the Bucks, so he is loyal to the Bucks. For him to say the only other team is New York tells you right now the Knicks are back. They've been back really for the last few years, but in terms of a long-term sustainable winner, which the last 5 years has shown us they are, in terms of a legit threat to win it all, which we all realize they are, the Knicks are back. For the Knicks to be having players like Jordan Clarkson, Landry Shamet, and Michael and Brogdon wanting to come here, and in some cases not even getting guaranteed deals until after training camp. People do that when they want to get a ring. And the Knicks are on the verge to get a ring. You would normally see it, for example, when LeBron was in his prime, or even after his prime, actually. Players was lining up to try to sign on the team LeBron was on because they had a chance at a chip. Starting with the Miami Heat with him, Bosh, and of course D. Wade, they were getting all kind of vets that wanted Shane Battier. They were getting vets, Ray Allen, that was past their prime, that wanted another chip by playing with them. That's a sign that you were here. You have arrived. And that was with LeBron when he left Miami. When he came to Cleveland, same thing. You had Kyrie Irving that had been drafted by the Cavaliers that couldn't win 25 games, but then LeBron came there. And everything changed. Then you got Kevin Love there. They shipping out #1 picks, and they're getting minimum contracts and one-year deals because people wanted that chip. And a lot of people that did that got the chip with Cleveland. Then you went to the Lakers, and the beginning was the same thing. Okay? So I'm just using that as an example. The Knicks are there now. Team vets wants to come to the Knicks because there's a chance to win, especially those that have never won a chip before. There's a chance to win one here. A legit chance on a long-term sustainable winner with a solid management that knows basketball, knows what they're doing, how to make strategic moves, with a coach that players like. See, there was question as to whether players like Tom Thibodeau. I don't think there's a question about that with Mike Brown. Okay? So even for the people that are soft, like, I call them soft because Tibbs was hard and I like hard. But there's players that, they want somebody soft, somebody that's a collaborator. So you got that in Mike Brown, okay? And Mike Brown's hungry for a chip. So you got all of the elements that causes a guy like Antetokumpo to look at that and say, I want to play with them. I want to run with them. It's just kind of like when you in street ball. You in street ball and you see 4 dudes that is going to dominate the court that afternoon. Everybody wants to run with them, because you can keep you can hold court all afternoon, right? And you don't, people calling next, 20 people got next, right? But you with the team that's holding court. Everybody wants that. Especially if you've never won a chip before. You want that, okay? You want that. So that is where the Knicks are. And to me, that's the biggest benefit of this Giannis Antetokumpo rumor. The fact that he was even talking like that says to us, oh, we for real. We for real. Now, it's not going to happen. It ain't never going to happen. Giannis ain't coming here. Okay? Y'all can forget it. All right? Team put together the way it needs to be. We ain't got the draft capital because we gave up the draft capital properly to get to the position we at right now. Okay? So he ain't coming here. If you are the Bucks and your superstar dude says, I want out, you got to get what you got to get for him. You're not just going to say, oh, you want the Knicks, we're going to send you to the Knicks. No, if Houston, Oklahoma City, which have twice the draft capital, 3 times the draft capital the Knicks got, if they involved with this, you're going to listen to them because you're going to get the most draft. What do you want if you're losing to Antetokumpo? Young talent and draft capital. That's what you want. The Knicks ain't got that. And they ain't going to have it because the Knicks are built to win over the next 3 to 5 years. The team is built to be able to manage the cap, manage the second apron, and keep their current core of players. Brunson is signed for another 4 years. You got another 3 years of Cat. You got 5 years of OG. You got 4 years of Mikal Bridges. You got on a $13 million deal, and even if you extend him, which I hope they do, it ain't gonna cost you for nothing. And then and then you could always plug in 1 year deals for Brogdon and Shamet and Jordan Clarkson. You're gonna get that because you have arrived. So the Knicks are in place to win for the next 5 years. They are not in place to break up their team and give up a lot of draft picks and young capital. They don't have it. You can't do both. Oklahoma City with Sam Presti, you got to give it to them. They did. The key thing was getting SGA, and SGA becoming the superstar people thought he was going to be. A guy drafted like toward the end of the lottery, but he's MVP now. He's MVP both in the playoffs, the finals, and the league. So you got him, and now you built with all kind of draft capital that you got for Paul George, that you got for Chris Paul, that you got for James Harden, that you got for all of these guys that was on your team. You got all kind of draft capital, and you built, Sam Presti built that thing up, and now they're NBA champions, and they still got draft capital. That's how you do it. But that's a rare thing to have that situation. But they're in a position, Houston, also, because of the same reasons, Houston, Oklahoma City, they're all in position to grab a superstar, give up picks, give up some young talent, and still be championship material. If you're Milwaukee, that's what you're looking at. Forget the Knicks. Sorry, they ain't got what we want, man. Sorry, Giannis. I know you like it, but they ain't got what we want, and we don't. But that's cool. We in win now mode. Let's do what we got to do. So all of this fantasy about, and that's what it is, straight fantasy. Now, if you into quaaludes, if you into getting high and you into living in the cloud of fantasy, well, enjoy yourself. I particularly don't like that myself. I like to live in the real. And right now, the real is the Knicks are long-term sustainable winners, ready to get this chip, and we can't afford nobody that we got to give up a whole bunch of players to. No. We're getting ready to get this chip. Let's do what we got to do. Y'all enjoy your Wednesday. Shalom.